I live in New York City, and I've seen these things all over the, what do you call it? Like the walk signs, the little square walk things that when it's time to walk across the street, it turns into a little white man and then the orange hand. Well, anyways, apparently this rabbi has been getting his people to post these signs all over the place, fascinatingly. Yeah, check this out. I took a picture on this is like on the back of one of the walk signs when you're trying to cross the street or whatever. It's fascinating to me because there's like a vibrant Jewish community here. Long live our master, teacher, and Rebbe King. I don't understand Jewish culture, so I apologize if I'm mispronouncing this stuff. I'm doing my best. Messiah, or Mosaic, forever and ever. Messiah is here. And there's a little QR code on the bottom right. So I pulled up the QR code just out of curiosity. I want to see what this website's all about. We got a Jewish cult on our hands, right? And you know me with cults. Like, I got to talk about it if there's a cult prancing around town. That's weird. It's not loading. It's not letting me pull it up. It's not a perfect solution, but I've managed to basically stream my phone screen. So I figure if nothing else, we just kind of glance through his website. This is what opens when you look at the QR code that I had here. About Mosaic, a Jewish leader who is ushering in a period of world peace devoid of hate, greed, suffering, and strife. A world suffused with the wisdom and goodness of its creator. Trust me, it's good stuff. Quick interjection. I won't take long. I just wanted to tell you guys, YouTube's algorithm operates off of a few factors. Watch time, whether or not you subscribe, and whether or not you like something. So if you really want to help my channel, I would appreciate it if you guys watch the video to the end. If you don't watch it to the end, just watch a little bit longer than you would have otherwise. I would appreciate that very much. All right, let's get back to the video. So let me just explain. New York City has a unique relationship with the Jewish community because some crazy high number, 50% or maybe even more of the Upper East Side is made up of Jewish people. It's New York City is the highest concentration of Jewish people outside of Israel. It is a very Jewish city. And with every religion, you get your cults. That's just kind of a natural extension of religion, you know? You get these groups popping up who believe this weird thing or that weird thing, or think that this doctrine is wrong or that one's right or whatever, you know? And you end up with a cult leader who believes that he's somebody special from time to time. There's a UFO cult that was kind of loosely based on Christianity called Heaven's Gate. You know, there was Jonestown, there's the Seventh-day Adventists, there's the Jehovah's Witnesses, there's the Branch Davidians. I mean, those are just Christian cults. There are Muslim cults, too. They're all over the place. So, anyway, there's an interesting community in New York City called the Hasidic community. If you've never heard of it before, it is very insulated. Outsiders aren't allowed in, and insiders aren't allowed out. They don't have phones, they don't have TVs, they don't have cars, they have nothing. No technology whatsoever. And they live in Brooklyn, New York City, right in the middle of New York City. And you see all these skyscrapers around. And here they are in their little buildings that they built with their own two hands. It's really fascinating. And heartbreaking at the same time. You know, some of these Hasidic people never had a chance. They have terrible education there. Like, all they really expect of their kids is to be able to read and write roughly and kind of add and subtract pretty well, you know? Not good education at all. And I believe that they were also very anti-vax when the time came around to get the vaccine and everything. It's bad. It's real bad. Well, anyways, I was walking down the street the other day, and I come across a couple of Jewish guys wearing the yarmulkes. They got the hair and everything. And they say to me, "Are you Jewish?" And I said, "No." And they said, "Oh, okay, have a good day. What about my business?" "Oh, I'm going somewhere with this. This gets fascinating in a second. You just wait." Turns out these people are part of a Jewish cult, okay? I'm not sure if it's this same cult or not that they're a part of, but the cult that these people are a part of basically believes in extreme modesty. You're not allowed to show your elbows or your knees under any circumstances if you're a woman, because that'd be too tempting to the men. women can only receive a certain level of education and all this other crazy stuff. Oh, and the people on the street who ask, are you Jewish? They're never asking women. Women don't have this experience. They only ever ask men if they're Jewish, fascinatingly. So anyways, here's the lead. Here's the fascinating part about this. Libs of TikTok. You remember her? Libs of TikTok? Shia Raichik? She's from that Jewish cult. She's part of it. She lived in New York City for like her whole life. I don't think she lives here anymore. She was like a real estate agent or something like that. And she was part of this Jewish cult that's out there. It's crazy. That's why if you ever see a picture of Shia Raichik, you'll notice her elbows and her knees are covered. Anyway, I just want to kind of glance through a little bit of this. You know, when a cult says it's real, you know that you should probably be questioning that a little bit. Like, if it was real, they probably wouldn't have a need to like try to shove that down your throat so hard. It says, it's real. This is not a virtual reality concept. It's happening for real. Cynic says, nah, I don't believe in that stuff. But hey, this is no time to get stuck in theology. Something big is happening. That's a fact you either know or you don't know. But now you know. And that's a good thing, because the world as we know it is about to change. For good. It's near. So they're a doomsday cult, I guess. They believe the end is, here, basically. So it says it's near. How do I know? Because the world today is in much better shape than it ever was. That's true, actually. That's a fun fact that a lot of people aren't aware of. The world is in better shape today than it has ever been in the entire history of the world. It's hard to wrap your head around that, because we have a news cycle that's showing us the bad parts all the time. They don't show you the good parts. And I probably contribute to that to some degree too. I cover the bad parts. I cover cults a lot, right? So it says, how do I know that the end is near? Because the world today is in much better shape than it ever was, socially, medically, financially, and politically. Okay, well, we've had a lot of political strife in the U.S., so that was a questionable one to put in there. But then it says, Cynic says, what a weird way to phrase it, right? Cynic says, last I checked, all I saw in the world was chaos. But hey, the good stuff doesn't make it to the news. He's right on that point. That's true. Google the statistics and compare. Fact is, even Cynic would rather live today than 100 years ago. It's just a teaser for a much brighter future that's unfolding now. Yeah, he's correct on this, and this is what a lot of cults do. They will find a fact that isn't really widely believed, that they are 100% correct about. Like they'll find a myth and they'll debunk that myth, and they'll use that as the basis to legitimize the rest of the belief system. Like they'll leverage their way into convincing you by giving you this statistic. For example, Jehovah's Witnesses do this exact thing with a couple of their teachings. They talk about the Trinity being fake. That's accurate. The Trinity is not in the Bible. Not actually. And Jesus never believed that he was God and the Holy Spirit. He believed that he was a separate entity. The Trinity is fake. And hellfire is fake. Those are two things that were not in the Bible, that are not backed up by anything theologically in Christianity, that Christianity has absolutely no reason to believe whatsoever, but they do anyways. And Jehovah's Witnesses debunk it, because it's easy to debunk. All you got to do is go to a few legitimate Bible scholars who have studied this stuff, and they'll tell you all about it. And once you find that out, that the Trinity is fake and that hellfire is fake, that it's not actually in the Bible, that it was added later by monks at best, and at worst it's just not there at all. Once you find that stuff out, you're like, these people might be onto something. Maybe they know some information I don't. I should follow up on it. I should look into it. I should believe more of what they say. In reality, they're just using this stuff as a tool to gain credibility. Exactly. That's Jehovah's Witnesses' tactic. Exactly the way that this cult leader is doing right now. He says, check the statistics. Things are better today objectively than they were even 100 years ago. He is accurate on that, and he's using that point of accuracy to bolster his credibility. Next one says, take part. So stand by and watch, or do something to help speed up the process. Let there be no more fighting, no more getting stuck in the mud, no more hurting. Let there be more kindness, more goodness, more being there for each other, more awareness of God. And interestingly, it's spelled G-D. Are you not supposed to say the name God in Judaism? I know the holy name was not supposed to be pronounced, Yahweh. And so they added the vowels for the word Adonai, meaning Lord, into it, so that when you reached the holy name, YHWH, it was impronounceable, garbled nonsense. And you would realize, oh, I'm not supposed to pronounce this, so I'll just keep on going when you're reading the Torah or whatever. That's how we ended up with Yahovah as the commonly accepted name. People went back later and added the vowels for the word Lord so that the holy name would not be pronounced because there was a superstition about it. And passing through Germanic regions, Y's are pronounced like J's, W's pronounced like V's. You end up with the name Jehovah. So that's where the name came from. It's not actually in the Bible. It's not God's name in any way. J's didn't exist until the 1400s. God's real name was Yahweh. I apologize to my Jewish listeners. But I guess not only does this guy, right here, see, not only does he not want you saying Yahweh, he doesn't want you saying God, apparently. Put a dash in there. Maybe he should do the old tactic and insert a nonsensical letter in there, like a P, GPD or something, right? You have to pronounce it like GPD. It just, it wouldn't make any sense. So more awareness of God, more meaning, more joy. Bring it on. Bring Messiah now. And I guess Messiah is a title, Messiah. So he's a Jewish guy that believes that he's the Messiah. If you remember your theology, just a reminder in case there are some atheists who have never been a Christian in my audience. Jesus was Jewish, and there was like a Jewish belief that a Messiah was going to come along, and he was going to, spark the end and take political control of Israel and all this other stuff. Jesus never actually fulfilled the expectations in the Old Testament, but he'll do that when he gets back. We're not going to pay attention to that. We'll think about that later when he gets here. So anyways, this guy, Mosiach, I guess, it's more of a title than a name, but he's kind of taken it as a name. It's like calling yourself governor or president. Kind of weird, right? Anyways, this guy Mosiach fancies himself on the level of Jesus. He considers himself to be in the same role as Jesus. Just doesn't believe that Jesus came along. Looks like there's a YouTube video that comes with it. Is this like, it's a CNN video apparently on YouTube. Is this like an interview with him or something?
Tell us the message you have for the world, about Mashiach, the message you have.
Moshiach, exactly like my Kootmaster, my guy, my Jewish chatter told me about. Moshiach, interesting.
Tell us the message you have for the world, about Mashiach, the message you have for the whole world, about the Mashiach.
Yeah, I have printed it. It was printed in all the press of all the...
Okay, now hang on for a second here. For just the audio listeners, he's speaking in another language, presumably Hebrew. He says, yeah, I have printed it. It was printed in all the press in all the countries. If you want me to repeat it, Moshiach is ready to come now. And I get he calls himself Moshiach, right? Which means Messiah, I believe. Messiah is ready to come now. And he's using that as a title for himself. It is only from our part to do something additional, so people should be doing at least a little more, then Mashiach will come immediately. That's what he said. And I guess it was like spoken in Hebrew, apparently.
I have printed it. It was printed in all the press of all the...
Oh, no, it wasn't. It just sounded like it was for a second. Apparently it's in English. Let's just give it a listen here.
About Mashiach, the message you have for the whole world, about the Mashiach.
Yeah, I have printed it. It was printed in all the press of all the countries. If you will repeat it, then the Mashiach is ready to come now. It is only from our part to do something additional in the realm of goodness and kindness.
So people should be doing goodness and kindness for him to come.
At least a little more than Mashiach will come immediately.
So there you go. I guess he got one interview with CNN. How long ago? How old is this? Does it tell us? I mean, just a guess. 1991. Yeah, it does say here. October 20th, 1991 is when this was recorded. So all the way back in 91, this dude, I guess, got an interview with CNN, and he still has it on his website here. This is the thing he wants you to see when you come up and whatever. That's so interesting, isn't it? Moshiach means anointed one. Okay, really interesting. Is it synonymous with Messiah, or is that something different? Let's see. The mitzvah campaigns, the 7 laws. Let's just kind of glance through. Belief in God. Again, he's like blanking out the O in God. Do not worship idols. That's number 1. You know, like that big golden statue of Donald Trump, that one. You don't want to worship things like that. That wouldn't be good. Seriously, there's a golden statue of Trump. I mean, it would be comical if it wasn't so on the nose. Oh, who am I kidding? It is comical. I mean, if I remember correctly, I feel like the Bible specifically called out this kind of thing right here. Said, don't do this. Don't do this exact thing. And here we sit. The Messiah, Donald Trump, as some people believe, on the right, built a golden statue of himself. My God, dude. My God. Yes, it is the same word translated to English. Okay, that's what I thought. Interesting. Anointed one. Huh. Do not worship idols. Just kind of glancing through what he's got going on here. So here are some of like the laws. Apparently his only law is do not worship idols. One must believe in the existence of the one and only creator of the world. He creates the world and every human and knows all our actions and thoughts. He observes them and judges each person according to his deeds. He is the one and only God whom we must worship and to whom we must pray. The practical implementation of this commandment, a complete prohibition to bow down or worship idols of any kind, or to believe in another God or any other created entity or force. Okay, fantastic. I don't believe in any of them, so problem solved. I'm on the same page so far. Man, the weakest of creatures, is surrounded by forces of life and death far greater than himself. Confronted with the vastness of these universal forces, man might well try to serve them in order to protect himself and better his lot. The essence of life, however, is to recognize the Supreme Being who created the universe, to believe in him and accept his laws with awe and love. We must remember that he is aware of all our deeds, rewarding goodness and punishing evil. We are dependent on him, and to him alone do we owe allegiance. I mean, it sounds like the same religious garbage that I've heard from 1,000 other cults before, right? Only this specific cult happened to have a sticker on every walk sign from here to Queens. Seriously. Long live our master, teacher, and Rebbe King, Messiah, forever and ever. Just bizarre, dude. Absolutely bizarre. I mean, I come from deep red territory in the United States. I lived in West Virginia for like a long time. For, all through my childhood, basically, from 8 years old to like 20 or something, 22, 23. Everybody I met was a Christian. Everybody. And every cult I came across was a Christian cult. And trust me, there are a lot of Christian cults out there in the backwoods that you probably don't even know about, that I don't even know about, that are just like doing some bizarre shit back there without anybody even knowing, like right in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, it's fascinating to come to New York City and see Jewish cults as opposed to Christian cults. I assume if I went to the Middle East, I would see a lot of Muslim cults. Like the higher density or the higher population of one set of beliefs, I suppose, the higher the chances that one of them is going to go off the rails and into cult land, right? Really, really fascinating. The Moshiach cannot be here because our world is still messed up. Right. So from my understanding, that was from one of my Jewish followers. My understanding of it is the Old Testament talks about the Son of Man, which is supposed to be the Messiah. The Messiah is going to come to earth and he's going to, there are a number of qualifications to be the Messiah, and he's going to take political control of Israel, or of the country, like he's going to become the leader, the president or king or whatever, and then the end will come and everything will be perfect, be like a, I don't know, utopia or whatever. I believe that's what it is, but you know, I'm not super familiar, so someone can correct me on the theology in the comments if you know more about it, and I'll pin it to the top. Jesus was expected to be that person, of course, but, you know, he died on his trek to become the political leader of Israel. Died along the way, I suppose, and his followers didn't really know what to do with that. They were like, okay, well, he'll be back, I suppose. Just hold out, just wait, hang on, chill out with us, and he'll be back, I swear, in like 10 minutes. Book of Mark even cites him coming back and then going to heaven. They thought he was coming back to fulfill his role as the Messiah in their lifetime. The disciples and stuff, the apostles did. They thought they were going to see the end. And here we sit, thousands of years later, still waiting. If you're not got the hint, Jesus was not the Messiah. I don't know how else to say it, guys. And sorry, neither is this guy that has taken Messiah as his name. That's a little presumptuous, but okay. Not for me to judge, I suppose. Well, it is for me to judge, because I'm the guy that likes to judge cults all the time, so. Wow, that just fascinating, man. Absolutely fascinating. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. It is super interesting to see, like, different types of cults and stuff. No, like, not just the Christian ones, but there are cults out there of every variety, and it's really interesting to kind of figure out what their culture is and their belief. Heartbreaking for the people, of course. They don't seem to be unhappy a lot of the time. Like, cult members don't appear to be unhappy. In fact, a lot of the time, they're willing participants, but they are victims of something called undue influence, where they're basically being influenced to do something without having all the facts and information at hand. They're basically a part of this group believing that he's the Messiah when he damn well knows he's not, or when he's simply not, you know. Or a lot of cults, I mean, not just this one, but Jehovah's Witnesses, they'll just straight up lie to their members. Just tell them something that's simply not true, and kind of clone their personalities, make them all similar to each other, you know? That's like a hallmark of a cult. If you see happy, cloned people who are always smiling, and, you know, glassy eyes, like dead eyes, and a smile on their face, it's probably a cult. You've probably seen the look in Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses. You probably know exactly what I'm talking about. If you really want an example of what it looks like, the glassy eyes, I'll just show you a quick example. You can't see it too well in this because it's so low res, but this is Heaven's Gate. This is the Heaven's Gate cult. This is like their checkout video, their exit videos before they all checked out together, all 39 of them. You can kind of see the happiness, but it's kind of fake almost. And it's like just like an emptiness, like you know, the glassy eyes and kind of the vacant look almost in their face. This is a hallmark of a cult. This is what you see in basically every cult member.
That the underpinnings of this world are so corrupt that you really cannot succeed unless you're willing to compromise what you know in your heart isn't really right. You're going to be faced with that inside you, you're going to have to give up something that was of value in order to make a difference in the world.
Give up something of value in order to make a difference in the world. And in her case, she believed that the thing that she had to give up to make a difference was her own life. The very next day, or maybe even that night, 39 people, including her, checked out together. I've watched the initiation tapes for Heaven's Gate already on my Unfiltered channel. If you want to see like the whole breakdown, then we can go through it. But I just want to show you the glassy eyes. Just look. I mean, this is a better, closer up shot of the glassy eyes. This is a hallmarker of a cult. This is how you can tell when you see somebody's eyes like this. Like look at the way that he stares at the camera.
Gave me birth into that kingdom level above human, that kingdom of heaven, that kingdom of God. Now you can say, well, I can't believe that.
Well, he just told the camera that he's Jesus, and so that's why he's saying that. Let me see if I can step back a little bit, and you can hear his admission.
He would speak of them and how they would speak of us. Now, you keep saying us. Who do you think you are? Well, I, in all honesty, must acknowledge my Father.
So he's trying to ease you into the idea that he is Jesus. Kind of similar to Mosiah here, right? Kind of similar to this dude right here. He's claiming to be the Messiah, just like Doe of Heaven's Gate, a Marshall Applewhite, called himself Doe.
My Father is not a human father. My Father is a member of the evolutionary level above human.
The point, though, is the glassy eyes. Look at the look in his eyes. It's a hallmark of a cult. That's the kind of thing that you can expect from a cult member. And I'm sure you've seen the empty smile in, like, a Mormon before that you've been talking to, right? Mormon comes up to you and says, "Hey, how's it going?" And they're just, like, lit up and smiley. It's part of the personality that's been programmed into them.
The kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven.
So, anyways, yeah. That's cults for you, man. That's cults for you. It's crazy stuff. Let me know what you think in the comments.